morning, good afternoon, good evening, yeah. Wherever you are on this cray rock. My name is Jade and this is How to App on iOS, and it's, what day is it here? It's Thursday here in Australia, Wednesday for the rest of you around the world. We're looking at
LumaFusion
today. Howdy. Hope everyone is well. Let's say g'day to people in the chat. Russ, g'day, how are you? Scott. Tom Rochelle, long time no speak, my friend. Almost feels like it was about 20 minutes ago. Glad to know we got that all worked out. So Tom now, we had a little bit of a delay with getting out his prize codes for Aurea Pro. But he's got them now. They've all been set up, and he now has Aurea Pro and Drummer Grog 5. G'day, Benedict Stewart. Chinton CG, how are you as well? Okay, so let's jump straight into today's Bizzo. What do we got? So we're looking at LumaFusion. And this is, in my opinion, the creme de la creme of video editing apps. So we've had a look at some things like... what did we look at? Cute Cut. We looked at Leap. Video Leap. We also looked at just opening my Pixel Loop. And why did I go through these things? Well, because they're different stages of video editing tools that you can use. Hi, Stu Cash. Welcome to the show also. And I believe this is the top of the crop. This is, the closest thing you're going to get to Final Cut Pro on a iPad. Or, the beautiful thing is, this works on an iPhone too. How incredible is that? So let's jump straight in and have a look over here at the price first. Let's get that out the way. So, US, you're looking at $30 up front. In Australia, that's a lot more. So it's about $50 in Australia. It's expensive. Yes, I know. But it's incredible. It is an incredible app. Plus, there is a subscription fee attached to it as well. And I know that's going to turn a lot of people off. But it comes down to this. That's why I tried to cover the two previous videos on video editing software on your iPad with cheaper alternatives. So there are things out there that can do that. A little bit more than iMovie, of course. But this is the thing that I suggest people use if they really want to get some serious work done. You want to create some serious clips. This is the way to go. Here it is on the App Store. Yes, we do have it here. And just recently it's had an update. Now these guys are fantastic with their updates. They really bang out the updates, and the updates just aren't like, what you get on Facebook every 2 days saying, oh, we've made some improvements, and we won't tell you. As you can see, this was the latest update, and multi-select timeline. Just, there's always a bunch of really cool things in here. And what I want to show you before we jump into the app, just to explain, when I look at the features here, this is one of the biggest game changers for me for this app. When we look at editing here up the top, it says 6 video and audio tracks. So having the power of 6 video tracks, that is an incredibly powerful tool for a mobile device. That is just crazy. Very impressive. So let's jump in, and what I'm going to do first is, like all the time, show something that's been created in LumaFusion, and I'm going to go back to my movie and show you something that you may not have seen of it. So you're getting like a pre-look at it. This was a version of it from last year, was it? End of last year. This was a version of it. And I'm going to play you the beginning of the film, the title credits, so you get to see all the title credits, how they were put together, and the first minute or so of the film, which is quite brutal and confronting. If you are squeamish and can't handle a lot of blood from animated characters, you may need to turn away. So let's open it up and get straight into it. Let's get it as a full screen. Where do we go? There we are, full screen. So, there we are. This is the layout. And before I do play anything on here, one beautiful thing that you get straight up from LumaFusion is if the layout is a bit too confusing for you, because there are a lot of people, and I've been that person as well, when you open something up like this, it can be overwhelming sometimes. And you think, where do I start? What do I do? There's so much here. Down the bottom here in the right hand corner, you can click this little window at any time and you can change the format of how everything looks. And you've got multiple ways to look at it. What else we got? So a little screen up the top. You can change your appearance to suit your style, to what makes you happy. That's already off the bat something that can take away the initial fear of getting into something big like this, because it is an investment, as we have already covered. So before I get into everything, let's play you a bit of my movie. Let's play the beginning of it. And again, you can see across the timeline, this has got a whole lot of the middle track there. Has some of the main stuff that I've already kind of mixed down. And then you can see little Tetris blocks where I've added new stuff to the film. Like this whole Terminator thing that I drew. This whole Terminator movie section, which you're not going to see today. So let's jump in, have a play, and then we'll go through all of the features and functions before next week actually building something in this program. So we'll pop it to full screen. I'll turn down my microphone and enjoy the opening credits of my soon-to-be released film. The answer is 42. So that is the opening scene from a fair while ago, from the beginning of last year. Get my words straight. It has changed a fair bit since then. So let's jump in and have a look. Now, I'll be straight up and honest. Another reason I went through some of the apps that I have done already this week was because I've used virtually all of those apps, including a whole ton more, to create this. And even when I scroll to the end of the credits, just to give you an idea, because the credits are in this, let's have a look. This runs through all of the apps that I used. So video and photo, LumaFusion, what have we got? Pixelmator, Over, Photoshop Express, QCut Pro, Toon Camera, Pixel Camera, Brushstroke, Video Leap, Pixeloop, Megaphoto, Sketchbook, Video Shop, and there's been a whole lot more that have been added to this. So audio apps, Audio Pro, Music Studio, Audio Share. So I have used a whole lot of things to make all the music and the video of this. Let's pop over. So nice play on hitchhiking theme, says Russ. Gary Hub says, hold me please. Hold me, I'm scared. Stu Cash said, good job, my kids are up. Tom Michelle, really cool. That was crazy. Jade, so sick. Thank you very much. I can't wait till the thing's released, because you have no idea how deep this film is. It is demented. So let's jump in and have a look first at some of the options for this particular application and why it's so cool. So down in the bottom, we're going to focus first down in the bottom here in the right hand corner. You have this little help and settings sections. So across the top, once you open this up, you have a help section with all of your tutorial videos all included in there, reference guides, customer support. It's all built in, which is really nice. You have on the far left your settings. So when you open a brand new project, this is where you want to go first to make sure you've got it set to how you would like. Frame rates, of course, do go up to 60. So that is all nice and good. You have a whole bunch of options in relating to, I mean, look at all of those options. European widescreen cinema, US widescreen cinema. I mean, this thing is deep. Very deep. This is so much deeper than a failed sex change surgery. Oh, I promised I wasn't going to say that joke, and I did. Then you've got your background color that you can set, and down below here, you can actually set how long you want your, when you add a photo to your timeline, how long you want that to go for. So by default, the photos are set for pretty much 1 second there. How long a title will be when you add in text. So it's set for 4 seconds, and automatically how long transitions will be. So you can change this globally at any time. Now, ducking is for, it's something that I'm not going to get into today because it's something you need to see me do, and that'll be on the next episode of this. You've got your preferences, which is virtually the settings with a few more little options in here. So your interface, your clip styles, preview, so how the quality of your preview that you're showing to save up resources. So you've got a balance to good, fast, poor. So if you have an older iPad or iPhone, you can mix up the quality of your preview to save resources. And that's a really good thing. I wish so many apps would put that kind of thing in. So if you take a screenshot, because it's quite handy. A lot of the time I've done this in a project that I'm working on. There's a section that I want to elaborate on. So I will go, just to show you, I would go into a full screen, say I wanted that shot, and I would take a screenshot of this, and it would save it into my palette that I can reuse again. So that's really cool. So you can decide if you want it to be a JPEG or a PNG and the quality of it. So that is really nice to have as well. Let's jump over, and you have this fantastic little section here, this cleanup section, which will go through your temporary files that are saved in here, how much cache you have unused. You can clean up certain projects. You can clean up so much from here. And really, if you're running out of space on your iPad or iPhone, it's a really neat addition to have built in to manage your storage. Fantastic. You know, more apps need to do this kind of stuff. So that is the little question mark settings section down here. Next to that, the little ellipsis, as always. This is where you're going to share and export stuff. So what's really cool about this, you can export LumaFusion projects. So you can export a snapshot, you can export the actual project, and then send that across to another device. Fantastic stuff. They've really covered so many different angles of saving. I mean, I'm pretty sure too, and I'll probably have to look it up, and I should have done this before I came on today, but I was running a bit late. I'm pretty sure you can save these projects and open them up in things like Final Cut Pro, or I'm pretty sure there is the ability to open them up on a PC or a Mac in other video editing programs. So when you click movie, you get a whole bunch of options here, like you can save it to your photos, you can send it straight to YouTube or Vimeo, to your Files app, or open it up in another application, or AirDrop. And I used AirDrop when I got my iPad Pro, because all my projects were on my iPad 2017. So I used this AirDrop bit to transfer all of my projects over AirDrop onto my new iPad, and it was so easy to do. So because I didn't want to do a backup from my old iPad, which that would have saved all that material, just put all that material onto the iPad, but this was super easy. So if I hit photos to save this project, you get an absolute ton of options to save. So resolution, I mean, you even get 2K, and we go all the way up to 4K, 3K, 2.7K. You get so many options all the way down to the minuscule 480. So again, absolutely sick, the options you can do. And what's great down the bottom here, you can see exactly how big this file is going to be. So if I say this is a 4K file, you can see this is going to take up 13 gigabytes. Now this is just to give you a heads up as well, this version of my movie is a low quality version that I was using just to do a mock-up edit, so it is in a much lower resolution. The actual full version of my film currently sits, when I do a mix down of it, at something like what was it, about 300 gigabytes. So it's pretty massive, because I'm doing it all in 4K. So you've also got your frame rate. Clearly you can choose your frame rate, your video quality, and you've got a ton of options, you know, ultra high all the way down to basic economy kind of, which is still super high. Your audio quality, your hertz for your quality, you can choose from your video codecs. If you just want to say video and audio, or video only, or audio only, you can do all of that as well. So as you can see, there is a ton of options for saving your projects. It's really damn cool. Let's get out of there. I've already shown you across the bottom here your setups, so you can have your different setups for the actual UI of this app. Let's jump over to this top left hand corner up here and have a look about at your importing options. Let me catch a breath, because I know I'm talking really fast to try and get through as much as I can. Yeah, and there's nothing better than filling my throat with tea. So in the top left hand corner, you see where this little flower icon is, which is, as you would know, your photos icon for your device. When you click on that, you are given a whole bunch of sources up here. So your photos, Files app, your imported stuff that you've specifically imported into LumaFusion. Then you are presented with story blocks, your titles, and your transitions. So let's have a look at your photos first, and you're basically given what you have saved in your photos. So your videos, all your photos all together, any moments, you can break it down into albums, you can do all of that stuff. So it's pretty damn cool. Files app, same deal. You can actually add links from here to your Files app, so specific folders. So that's really handy. So if you have all your projects in a specific folder, this won't get cluttered up by having your entire Files app section available. So if you're just using an external hard drive, you can do that. That's really, really damn cool. So also imported, these are the things that, this is where you import stuff into LumaFusion, and you can create folders within this section. As you can see here, I have set up for all my projects individual folders for each project that keeps all of the audio. So I'm quite anal about this, as you can tell, because it's my movie. And when we jump into selecting a new project, you'll see I've even color coded all my projects in here for sections of the movie, so it's easy for me to navigate. And then I've sorted all of that into color coded stuff. Now if I go through here, you will also find just here iCloud Drive. So this is all the stuff that I've imported from iCloud Drive, the Files app, that I haven't put into a project. I haven't actually decided to put it into a project. If I go down, I'm pretty sure there's another folder like that. Yes, I know I have a lot of projects that are called My Project. That's really slack, and I will get around to sorting those. Trying to find it. So, you've seen I've done videos on Over before. So whenever you import something from Over, there are certain apps that when you import them, like Over, when you import something from that program into here, it automatically creates a folder letting you know all of the things that you have actually imported from Over. So now I have a small amount there because I've imported them into here and then further moved them out into other folders. So let's have a look now at transitions. We won't do transitions yet. We'll look at story blocks, because this is the bit that people, you know, obviously you're going to be a bit about, because you're paying for a subscription, but you're getting a fuckload of amazing stuff with story blocks. And let's have a look. I'll just skip over to the App Store for a moment because the price of it is in here. Excuse me. Mute button works cool. So yearly for story blocks, Australian, it's around $106, so it's around $50 a year. If you are using this thing, all the time, sick. Like, jump onto that. There's been periods where I was signed up for a year, and then this year I haven't been using it as much because I've been working on other things. So I knocked it down to a monthly fee, and I do believe I just got charged for it, and I think it was around $10, I think. So it's more expensive than paying for it yearly, but there's a lot of value for what you get compared to any of the other apps, because all of the stuff in here is royalty free. So if I click on footage, you are just presented with an absolute crap ton of stuff, and whatever you type, trust me, it's in here. You can find anything in here. If I type hacker, if I spell it right, that would be even better. And hit enter. So I'm presented here with videos that are around hackers. So you can see like this one. And when you click on the video, you get a presentation of it straight up to look at, and hit play. And you're not dragging it into your timeline or anything like that, just so you can get an idea. Oops. So here's one just preparing some code. So you do get a whole lot of really amazing stuff. And again, there's a whole bunch of green screen stuff in here. If you just type something like green screen, you're going to get a whole lot of varied things. You can break that down and look for specific things. Like you've got blood here. As you can see, like a blood, what is this? So blood splashing. And these are things that if you've ever done a search on Google or anything, looking for green screen or transparent animations or anything, these are things you will find on websites that you have to pay for. But because you're paying for them in this subscription, you've got them. These are yours to use. That's really cool about this. Now, you can see I've been using this search feature, and across the bottom here, it gives you these categories that you can swipe through, and it's because I've got something written there. If I minus that out, you get all of these options that you can scroll through, like nature, people, slow motion, sports, technology. It makes it a lot easier to find things. So food, if I click on food, there's a whole lot of videos, and you know, there's just not like a few. We're talking hundreds, thousands of things in these libraries, and they just keep loading and loading. Let's close the search. So to open the search, you can see there's a little magnifying glass down there. Plus, next to that magnifying glass, you can click this and change your sort views. So you can go alphabetically, you can choose 4K only. You get a whole lot of options to go through and find exactly what you want. And so the search feature is really damn cool in here. I'll just click off food. So we're back to 0. And let's close search. Now, if we go back to the, I always do this wrong. So up the top here, see, I always forget about it. We've got the footage. If I just go and click on story blocks, it goes back a chapter. So you've got still images as well, green screen stuff. So you can see what pops up automatically. You have music, whole bunch of music tunes that you can choose from as well. It's taking a little bit of time to load. There we are. So let's just just grab one randomly called Go Hard. And again, with these two, as soon as you click on them, they pop up to be able to have a listen to and see what's going on. Cool. So let's jump out of there. This is what I love the most, the amount of effects that you can get in here. This has been invaluable for making my movie. Just by searching something like guns. All right, so you are just presented with so many different types of guns, and it just astounds me the level of minute changes to certain laser shots. And so sharp laser shots, magnetic destroy. Let's have a listen to one of these. Now you can hear there, when I play that back, you can hear it saying Storyblocks Audio over the top. Unfortunately, if you're not paying for it, you can see all these things, but you're going to have the Storyblocks voice over it. Even though I pay for it, for some reason, it still has that voiceover, but it's not there when you drag it in if you've paid for it. So, laser shots, machine guns, explosions. I mean, the amount of explosions in here is just absolutely mind-blowing. Oh god, there's a nuclear blast that is so guttural. And if you've imported any of these, because once you grab one of them, say this explosion, once you actually add it to your timeline, what it does is it downloads it into Storyblocks from into your LumaFusion, and it puts it in a folder of things that you have downloaded. So it makes it nice and easy to find all the things that you have downloaded. Let's have a listen to this explosion. I mean, you can find, like, you can put in explosions like tin, wood. It's so fantastic. I really just love it so much. Let's go back a little bit. So you've got audio collections, video collections, and here's where all that downloaded media goes. As you can see, I've got like 490 of these things already saved. So like sword hits, knights, and armor. So there's just one single sword hit. So you have an incredible amount of power to really put together amazing stuff like a feature film, like what I'm trying to do with this. So that is Storyblocks. That's what you're getting for your money, and it's incredible, in my opinion. So you also get titles. So these are pre-rendered titles that you can add in and build on top of. Now also, and you know, these have like transitions built into them, some of them. Multiple colors, multiple layers. So when you drag them in, like if I just, let's see, what have we got? So you've got lower thirds, things like that, and you can change them once you bring them in. There is a massive selection of things that you can do. Very, very cool. How do we get out of there? There we go. And the final thing in here is transitions. So you've got you've got dissolve, fades, blurs. You've got even things like bursts. So something like that into a transition, zooms into transitions, grows, shrinks, swipes. A hell of a lot of stuff in there as well. Plus, you can create your own within your videos, which is really ace. So that is, we'll just go back to this photos bit. So that is what you initially get with this. Let's go to my imported section. So that's what you get. Now, what you will notice, there is an ellipsis over here that you can click as well. And this is where you import stuff into here. And off the bat, you've got Box, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, your Files app, a ScanDisk, iExpand, and I actually have one of these. I have one of these plugged in at the moment. Will it find it? I'm not saying there's an error reading it. Awesome. I bought it just to try it out, and I don't know why. It's not the best thing. You need the actual app to run it. So now you can use wireless, network drives, hell of a lot of options, and you can add sources to it. So that's really cool as well. If you've got anything available like a Wi-Fi drive or anything like that, you can go and do that too. Really, really cool. Really ace. Okay, so let's jump over to the timeline and we'll cover this, and then we shall call it a day for this particular show. Let's jump over and get a nicer picture here up on the screen. All right, so with your timeline, first what we will do, we'll actually jump out of this for a second. Now this is where your projects are. Now how I got here was this bottom left hand section, and this shows all of your projects that you have all organized, and you can see mine are all color coded. So as they go through the colors and that's to the left hand side here, they all have a little color at the beginning of each of them for all the sections of my movie. So it's very easy to organize this stuff. And once you are in this view in your projects, down the bottom here, you can search through your projects. So you have again, you have search options within your projects as well. So descending, you can view by color, by notes that you've added to your timeline, by create date, modified dates, durations, titles. You have a hell of a lot of options to be able to find your videos, which makes it nice and easy, because if you make a lot of videos like me, it does get overwhelming. And you don't even need to open a project to save it. See, so if I click on something like, let's find one of these projects. So this is a video clip for one of my songs. If I click on it, it hasn't actually opened up the project yet, as you'll see. It's given me a preview up the top, and along here you can see this tiny little field of showing all of the things that I've added to this particular song, just in a small view, but the actual track hasn't been opened yet. And down here with this contextual menu, you can actually go ahead and share the file from here without opening it up. Really handy as well. Fantastic. Just the amount of thought that has gone into this program is really incredible. I can even play it without opening up. Really, really cool. And across the bottom here too, you have options to create. Down in that bottom left hand corner, there's a plus sign to create a new one. You can duplicate, so you can delete it from here. You've got all these options. Let's just open this one up. So nice and easy, another click on it, and here is the project. So now that we've got that open, we can have a look at how the track system works. Now, it always starts with this track here in the middle, which is darkened for you. That's your main master palette track to work from, and everything you build on top of that. So everything works. You've got everything above the line is video, and everything below the line is audio. That is the way it's set up. So it's nice and easy. You've got that divider to keep you nice and clear. Let's just do this. Cool. Now, as you can see across here on the left panel, you've got a bunch of things like this is a chain link, which obviously means you can lock things in place, so you're not going to knock them out of order. And you will notice across here what it does when you add a link. You see this line running from the clip above to the video to below here. What it does is it locks that particular image or video or audio file to each other, so it perfectly will sit in sync. And as you go along the timeline, you can see I've got a whole lot of things, and when I zoom in on all these sections are all linked to this video in the middle. All these things above here are linked so they can't get knocked out of place. Super, super intuitive, because, you know, I can't tell you in so many other programs, I've bumped something out the way after spending hours of work and it's just knocked shit up shit creek. And it is a horrible thing to have to go back and go and fix that if you haven't saved your project in a while. Now, what I will show you next, there is on this main master track, you have an arrow here. Now, the way this works is, say, let's, what I will do, I'll make a copy of this track. So I've got this track selected, and I'm going to duplicate it. It's probably going to call it Truth Demo 6.2. Now let's open it. So you'll see on the master track here, there's a block in there that says blank. All right. Now if I scroll along, just zoom in a bit so we're not scrolling as far. It goes for a fair while. It's a blank track, and then I've gone back here to add footage in. When you've got, depending on how you've got this arrow over here selected, so if I choose that version of it where it's pointing down and then go back, if I chop a bit out of this, if I try and cut this blank now, if I say do a cut to it, it just does a nice cut and leaves the blank part there. If I just undo that. Now if I have the arrow selected to down and did a cut here, there's nothing to cut, okay? There's no actual blank file there. Now if I do something like this further on this track, if I cut this here, and now if I delete this piece in front, it stays nice and steady. But if you change the setting to this and you take a cut out, everything moves forward, everything comes forward. So you've got to be really careful. But it's a bit to get used to, and it's kind of hard to explain because of how I've got this all set up and locked into place. So, but it's really good for if you want to move only certain sections, if you want to make a cut, or if you want to make a cut and have nothing move forward. So it's really finite for those editing situations. Let's just undo everything that I've done there to get back to normal. Now, you've also got this lock here to lock things in place. You've got a view section, so we'll use this on this track. When you click that, it removes the track out of the view. So you've got volume as well. You can mute, that's your mute. Each track has its own volume as well. So really handy there with all your settings. And as I said, everything you add below the main line is an audio track. So even if you add a video down here, it will convert into an audio track. So you'd add all your sound effects down below here as well. Now over here, these change the look of your board there. So you can have it more complicated or less complicated. Again, just a simple thing to throw in there if you're overwhelmed with everything that you're seeing on screen, if you just want that cleaner appearance. And finally, over here is your master. So you have a master volume to control everything. And what's great, I love this too, how you have right up the top, just like using a door, a plus, so it changes to minus your 0 level. So you've got a visual representation of the number as well as a visual slider. So that is that. And that's all I'm really going to cover today, because we're going to, we'll just quickly show you. We'll click on one. So I just double clicked on the video track. And as you can see, it opens up in a whole brand new section with a whole lot more features that I really want to concentrate on in the next video, because I think it's important to show you how to animate stuff and really get the most out of this, how to use green screen stuff, because this section is really, really deep. It doesn't look that deep, but scrolling across the bottom, you've got audio selections, you've got all your effects, and the amount of effects are just absolutely brilliant. The blurring and the quality of the effects, plus you can save your favorites. You can really break everything down to how you want your palettes to be set up for future videos and such. And all you need to do to get out of this is a little click up the top and you're back to your section here. And you can do editing with audio. I mean, it gives you mastering tools, compression. It's really, really impressive. So that's all I'm going to cover for today, because I have gone long like always, but you guys know that if you're followers of the show, that is just what happens. 20 minutes becomes 30, becomes 40, becomes an hour. So I hope you've got a little bit of an understanding of how powerful this can be. And we will continue this next week and go in depth and create something a little more complex than yesterday's video. And I will let you know tomorrow is going to be an awesome show. So I hope you can join me. We have Iota on the show, who just is an incredible artist, and I'm so stoked to have him on. I am so looking forward to tomorrow, and I hope you guys all are too, because it is going to be a fucking really informative, really inspiring, really cool interview. Let's get out of my there, and there we go. So thank you all for joining me today. I look forward to your company again tomorrow, and I hope the rest of your day is super cool, and you are plenty creative, and most of all, you are doing all those things that make you happy. So until tomorrow, stay gangster, stay rockin', stay metal, stay wild, stay forever.
Adios, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow.